my attitude is that Zimbabweans are smart people. So let people offer themselves the same way that you do applying for a job. And Zimbabweans will understand where their country is today. They will understand, therefore, how to frame the job that needs to be done. And then they will look at the short list or long list, for that matter, of those who offer themselves and see what the best match is.
Right. Objectively speaking now, how popular does Robert Mugabe remain in Zimbabwe? His wife suggested that he could win elections even as a corpse.
I've already covered the issue of the stats, the electoral stats. Less than 50% of Zimbabweans bother to go. And so the ZANU share of the electoral vote put together with the opposition is less than 50% of the population of eligible voters. So if you want to say he's popular when 50% of your, 60% of your people stay away and say, I don't want any involvement in this, then that's a different definition of popularity.
Well, in fairness in most countries, I mean, you know, you get quite a small percentage of people who go to vote, but, you know, governments are obviously elected on that vote. What do you see, though, as the main challenge facing Zimbabwe as the country heads or perhaps lurches towards those elections in 2018?
I think for us as APA, we've identified three main issues that need to be addressed. The first one is that the country has got no unity. The population is not united. We've got a geographic entity called a nation state, but within it, we've got a people who are completely ununited because the politicians have deliberately done a divide and rule. We believe that a country that is facing the challenges that we're facing ourselves requires to have unity because you're going to inevitably have to deal with issues of prioritization and sequencing. And those require that a nation have a particular view on where to start and where to go and what the program should be. So that's point number one. Point number two, Zimbabwe requires somebody who is going to understand the value of institutions that are institutions of state and are not captured by a political party. In our country, amongst other Southern African countries, I must say, if you look at the army, the judiciary, the police, and the intelligence services, they've been made appendages of a political party. That does not foster trust between the citizens and the government. So that's the second leg. You need to create a situation where citizens' rights are protected by these institutions of state. And we don't have that. So citizens don't trust their government. And lastly, of course, the economy. But these two first planks actually contribute to how the citizenry, the entrepreneurs, and the formulation of participation by private sector comes into play.
Okay. Now you talked about unity as a fundamental plank on which the country must move forward. And yet you don't seem to understand or agree that a consensus with the opposition, the need for them to come together to create a united front to properly challenge Robert Mugabe is essential. I mean, where do you stand with people like Morgan Tsvangirai, Joyce Majuru, and the rest of them?
I'm talking about national unity. National unity is not the same, it's not synonymous with opposition unity. You need everybody to be united, to have a maturity where we can debate and have a contestation of ideas, but as a population, we need to be united.
Right. Now, Zimbabwe is isolated and has been so for more than 20 years. What will you do to bring the country back to the right path of rectitude and into the community of nations?
The isolation of Zimbabwe stems largely on issues of governance. So if you get the correct leadership, remember the second pillar of what I said is actually about governance. The issue of institutions of state, protecting the rights of citizens and the like, it's about governance. You get that, you get rid of corruption, the international community will begin to recognize Zimbabwe as accepted back into the fold of a member of the global community.
Okay, we'll be watching very closely as you make progress towards that 2018 election. Dr. Nkosana Moyo, presidential aspirant and former Minister of Industry and International Trade in Zimbabwe. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.